Allegedly, Santa Klaus deboed members of their gang so many times that he was the sole reason they began to start using guns. When gunplay came into effect, Santa Klaus would pay a visit to a rival Crips home each Christmas and kill them. But this terror inflicted by Santa Klaus was year-round.
Now I'm have to. Today, live, we have a psychopath out here asking some people, do they want cheese? Rumor has it if you smack the cheese out of his hand, you won't live to see another day. Back to you, Carl. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Sauce Katie, and But you talking about fucking my style, my duggin'. Y'all already know how many tuggin' to a little bang dangle and noggins I've been doing on bargains. 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning, you heard me. Start that day out with a banger, and I'm finna start that day out with a spirit. I knew it was 7 in the morning, I ain't eat no water yet, but I still drunk this Sprite because I'm a gremlin. Fuck.
Oh! Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
I'm sorry. I might not leave that in the video. Psych, nigga, you know what's going in the video. I don't get no fuck, nigga. Alright, but look. Check this out, nigga. Check this out, dummy. We got He Killed a Crip Every Christmas. The story of OG Santa Klaus. Should this nigga name be like Krampus or something? The OG Krampus or something? Why they name this nigga Santa Klaus and he killing people? But that's beside the fact. Let's get into the motherfucking video, man. If you like the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we finna get to the video right now.
War stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of Santa Klaus. Alberto Von Cotto, also known as Santa Klaus, was a second-generation member of the Rolling 20 neighborhood Bloods. During the 90s day, in the early 1970s, as Blood Alley began to fade away, the youths from this neighborhood continued the Blood identity. In 1971, they began with the name In Hood. They added the Rolling 20s between 1975 and 1977. At some point between 1977 and 1979, they added Blood to their name. In the 70s, they had two main cliques, 25th and 27th Street. Originally being the Vermont Villain Boys, the 29th Street clique was formed on the south end of the neighborhood towards Jefferson. Santa Klaus got initiated into the Rolling 20s when he was only 16 years old. From the start, he was determined to display that he was the ultimate gangster and to position the Rolling 20s to be a top blood neighborhood across LA County. As a teenager, his gangbanging was bold and came with no fear. At 17, Santa Klaus would be flamed up wherever he went. Red house shoes, red rags, and chucks with red laces. On a few occasions, his open display would backfire on him. One day, Santa Klaus went head up and fought 6'5" Deuce Hoovers outside the swimming pool at Expo Park. He got packed out, but it showcased how fearless and frontline he was. It's no one Santa Klaus hated more than the Harlem Crips, who were the 20s' lifelong foe and primary rival, located just south of them.
Hold on, bro.
He got packed out, but it showcased how fearless and frontline he was. It's no one Santa Klaus hated more than the Harlem Crips, who were the 20s' lifelong foe.
Right there on the right. Bro, that nigga right there on the right. I promise somebody watching this video done seen a face like that before. That nigga been here before. And he here right now, probably.
And primary rival, located just south of them. His ill feelings and hatred toward the Harlems would be expressed on many occasions. Allegedly, Santa Klaus deboed members of their gang so many times that he was the sole reason they began to start using guns. When gunplay came into effect, Santa Klaus would pay a visit to a rival Crips home each Christmas and kill them. But this terror inflicted by Santa Klaus was year-round, not just on Christmas. And it wasn't one-sided. One night in 1981, the Harlem Crips caught Santa Klaus sipping walking home from his girlfriend's house. They got up on him and shot him at point-blank range. They left him in the alley thinking he was dead, but he survived and shocked his enemies 1 week later by walking down Exposition, which is in his enemy's territory, wearing a red rag over his head. As his reputation grew, his name became feared among hoods across South Central. By the mid-80s, Santa Klaus was a respected OG and a shot caller who was directing play calls. At that point, the war with the Harlem 30s was ongoing and only seemed to be intensifying. Santa Claus thought it would be a good strategy to change war tactics. At that time, the Rollin' 30's closest ally was the Rollin' 60 Crips. During the mid-80s, plenty of Crip factions were clicking up due to the rising Crip-on-Crip violence. Under Santa Claus's leadership, the 20s decided to conduct a kill mission dressed in all blue. Their target location was the intersection of Dinker and Jefferson Boulevard, a Rollin' 30 stronghold, but a location that was openly visible. As the 20s approached Dinker, they spotted a group of Harlem 30s in clear view. The faces of the Harlem 30s were confused. One of the 20s then yelled out, "West Side 60 Crip." The 20s then began to let off numerous shots in rapid succession. As the third target was shot and dropped, the 20s sped away and returned to their safe haven. Mission accomplished. Casualties on both sides continued. In the early 1980s, the Rollin' 20 Bloods had 3 cliques: 25th Street, 27th Street, and 29th Street. The Harlem 30s also had 3 cliques at that time: the Dinkers, the Avenues, and the 39th Street faction. At that time, Santa Claus and OG Head were key in expanding the Rollin' 20s by securing turf by enlisting the 2nd Avenue gangsters to become a part of the Rollin' 20 Bloods. The avenues were named for the streets between Arlington and Crenshaw Boulevard. The Rollin' 30s and the Rollin' 60s also had cliques of the same name at that time. In 1985, Santa Claus called a hood meeting for all cliques at Lauren Miller Park to officially establish that the 2nd Avenues are a legitimate clique. The 2nd Avenues arrived shortly after, and everyone began to celebrate. The 20s had now expanded to 4 cliques and were elevating their status as a premier
I'm saying though, celebrating what though? What are y'all celebrating? I'm just saying. Damn, but the nigga not give a fuck about money on back then. Y'all just cared about respect, beating the shit out of each other, and stepping on shit. Hey, it worked. At least y'all had a little more structure, a little more, you know what I'm saying, all that back then. But where the money on is it though? Where the big houses, who taking care of 4 families and shit like. At the end of the day, all these folk probably coming together because, you know what I'm saying, 2 minds better than 1, but
Blood gang in LA County. In doing so, the Rollin' 20 Bloods expanded land area to having arguably the largest blood gang territory in Los Angeles. Their neighborhood not only covered the West Adams area from Vermont to Crenshaw, but now extended north passing Washington, Venice Boulevard, and Pico between Crenshaw and Western Avenue. But their celebration was being watched. Not long into the meeting, groups of Harlem Crips descended into their neighborhood and started attacking both sides of their park, boxing them in. Santa Claus immediately sprinted toward the east end of the park in an attempt to combat the attack. Once in range, Santa Claus extended his right arm and fired 3 shots at his enemies. 1 Crip down, Santa Claus fired 2 more shots. Another Crip down, the Harlem's attack had backfired on them. They picked the injured homies up and threw them in the car and quickly sped away. As the South End war front heightened against the Harlem Crips, the 27th, 25th, and 29th Street clique launched attacks that extended beyond their enemy's main base of operation. Several Crip factions began to click up to slow down the 20s' offensive attacks. On the west side, the Harlems clicked up with the 60s, and in the deep west, the Harlem 30s could be seen kicking it with the Showline Crips at Venice Beach. So one day, Santa Claus ordered a few carloads of 20 members to slide into Showline territory in hopes of finding some Rollin' 30s. When they arrived, their hopes came into fruition as they spotted Harlem 30s on the Venice boardwalk. Both equal in numbers, the collision escalated into a large-scale gang fight. Law enforcement arrived deep shortly after, and many were arrested from both sides that day. Meanwhile, back on the home front, the 20s struck back at the Harlem 30s on a personal level. Both sides.
I ain't gonna lie, I used to, I ain't even gonna say, but I used to watch, I know a lot of people used to watch like them fighting videos on YouTube, and then you watch, you might mess around, look up gang fights, and then you'll just see a big ass like beach or lake or something, and it's like 15 niggas over here, 15 niggas over there, and they all just start thumping. I'm talking about you hearing straight shit crack, bones cracking. That's how that shit happened. Bro, we just got a real life story on how them videos be coming to the making on me. That's how that shit be happening.
Knew each other by names and knew where each other lived. Santa Claus started to target the home tactic, and many homes were hit, including the home of a high-ranking OG from Harlem. One night, the OG threw a party for his Harlem homies. As the party was going, Santa Claus bust down the door and began shooting at everyone in the party.
Damn.
Multiple Harlem members wound up dead that night. Word began.
Damn. He ain't shoot the house up. Mine came in, it been like a SWAT. Boom! At the door. I gotta find a movie clip to resemble what the fuck they said he just did right there. Cause damn, that's some real shit you off the movie. Everybody in the party, they all lacking, burger in hand, food in the other hand, and then just some commando Terminator ass nigga just bust through the door and letting off 7.62 rounds at everybody. God damn. Everybody hit the floor.
It spread quickly of Santa Claus's actions, and people were beginning to think he was untouchable. Santa Claus would spend a good portion of the next 7 years in prison. Santa Claus was released from prison in 1992. As a welcome home gift, members of the 20s laced him up with plenty of dope and cash. Shortly after being fresh out, Santa Claus took command of the war campaign against the Schoolyard Crips. The Schoolyard Crips were the 20s' hated enemy to the west. Skirmishes on their border of Crenshaw occurred frequently. During that time, Santa Claus found a girlfriend on Bronson Avenue. She mirrored his gangster ways, selling dope out of her one-bedroom apartment and carrying a pair of twin .380 chrome pistols. But on January 13th, 1993,
carrying a pair of 2380 chrome pistols, bro. I don't even know what that look like, but that sound like some shit that look crisp as hell. It sound like some shit. I gotta look them hoes up. I'm gonna put it in the video. I look them hoes up. That shit sound bad, no doubt.
The world was shocked when they discovered Santa Claus had been murdered. The 20s instantly pointed the finger at the Schoolyard Crips. By nightfall, all cliques of the Rolling Twins gathered at the headquarters, Lauren Miller Park, to discuss a revenge plan. That night, 5 Crip hoods were all hit simultaneously. The Harlem Crips, the Schoolyard Crips, the West Boulevard Crips, the Rolling 40 Crips, and the 5-5 Neighborhood Crips. The message was sent clear that night that the Rolling Twins went in blood. The Harlem Crips and the Schoolyard Crips immediately struck back. The following night, the 20s ventured into the heart of the schoolyards and shot down 3 members, one of which was—
Damn, gang. I understand y'all wanted back in blood for y'all homie, but see, I don't think bro would have made the executive decision to hit every click, you feel me? Because that mean y'all ain't got no hardcore evidence of who did it. Now you finna make I won't say unwanted, but you know what I'm saying, unneeded enemies at the time where you trying to figure out what just happened to your mans. And so you gonna need allies if anything, but hey, it seems like y'all got the numbers and the strength. And them folks sliding by bruh ass, so he must have been doing something real good for them. You feel me?
high ranking. After 2 weeks of intense warfare, the Schoolyard Crips are ready to call a truce and firmly denied their involvement in the Santa Claus murder. But the war against the Harlem Crips didn't stop, and the bodies began to pile up. The 20s also struck at the Rolling 40s hard in the corner of Vermont and Vernon, and the 5-5 Neighborhood Crips got hit with a 50-shot Uzi. During the bloody aftermath of Santa Claus's death, the 20s wanted to show hoods across LA just how much muscle they had, and willed to declare war on 5 Crip hoods at the same time. When Santa Claus's killer was finally revealed, many were left shocked and confused. The killer was not a gang member or even an affiliate, but a low-level weed dealer from Jamaica. Santa Claus supposedly robbed a Jamaican because he was pushing in his neighborhood. Young gunners canvassed the streets for nights on end searching for the killer, but he had disappeared, some believe out of state. The 20s' revenge was denied. Santa Claus left a reputation and legacy, and to this day, Santa Claus goes down as one of the top 10 blood riders in LA history.
That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. See, he done pissed off a little Jamaican, man. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Man, any Haitian, Jamaican, man, you niggas is different, guy. Y'all got it, bro. I'ma stick to bullets. You niggas play with blades. Man, I just seen a video I think Jamaican men, Nigeria, I forgot what the post said. They in that area, man, swinging with yetis. One nigga cut the other nigga hand off. Just cut it off. The my whole hand cut off. They still fighting with machetes. So after they both get done fighting, the other nigga get up bloody, and the nigga with the lost hand just walk over there, pick his hand up, and walk off like he ain't just lose his whole hand. Still talking shit, looking back and shit.